This show is the trashiest thing I've seen in a while, and it is gold because of it. It is the most counterintuitive thing I know, but that's just how I feel, especially after this week's episode. Oh my god, it is trash gold, and we all love it. You can't look away. It's like a train wreck. It's hard to look away from, but my god, it is hauntingly beautiful. It's a weird description, I know. With that said, though, everybody, welcome back to our weekly Rent-A-Girlfriend discussion videos. Today we're going to be talking all about episode 4, Friend and Girlfriend. But before we get into that, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. For crying out loud, hit the sub button. Hit it like Kibe hits Kaz. Do the thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so as always, we're going to be taking this episode one scene at a time. We're going to gradually build to the big thing that I want to talk about. Two big things, actually, that I got to talk about. But again, we're going to take our time getting there. We got to go through this thing scene by scene, moment by moment. Although admittedly, and I would like your opinions on this, I'm debating keeping the videos maybe around like the 30-minute mark, but maybe like chopping out like the excess stuff, so we only talk about the stuff that I want to talk about, which might mean leaving some stuff out. And I don't just mean on these videos, I mean like in general. I may have to repeat myself across videos, because I know not everybody watches these like every single video, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm thinking about keeping the length, but maybe just talking about the stuff that I really want to talk about and going more in depth, and then sort of like skipping all the excess stuff that I just don't have as much to say about. You know, going through the entire episode can be a bit arduous to make these videos maybe longer than they need to be. And honestly, I've been losing my voice a little bit. But that said, today we are going to be going as normal, going through the entire episode. But maybe next week, maybe it's different. I don't know. But regardless, we got to start at the beginning, as all great things do. And we start with Kaz meeting Mami-chan for the first time. And this is an important scene to show you why Kaz be such a simp. And I know everybody's sick of that word, so instead, how about I'll just use spineless, PC-whipped loser? How about that? Is that any better? No? Okay. Don't get me wrong, Kaz gets major bonus points for what happens at the end of the episode. Huge bonus points. But if he didn't do that, I would have hated him so much in this episode. This episode is a reminder that Kaz, he definitely hasn't seen the movie 500 Days of Summer, because if he did, he'd realize what's going on. At the very least, not saying that Summer's anything like Mami-chan, but I'm just saying like the way that this beginning scene is depicting the relationship between him and Mami-chan, it's very clearly him thinking of all the good things that happened. Because if you recall, at the beginning of the series, the relationship that he and Mami-chan had seemed way different, right? Like, we saw them at their worst, Kaz is thinking about them at their best, and the truth would likely be somewhere in between. They probably had some good moments, and we've seen some good moments, but we know that for sure they've also had a lot of bad, and we know for sure that Mami-chan doesn't really want to continue that relationship. If anything, she was only entering that relationship because she was bored. So Kaz definitely has the whole issue that Tom had in 500 Days, without going too far into it, of remembering all the good stuff, and it's like, no, you're not really thinking about it properly. And that's sort of where Kaz is. By the way, you should watch 500 Days of Summer. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's fantastic. Anyway, I gotta say, admittedly, and I hate myself for this, admittedly, him meeting Mami-chan was actually like legitimately like a very solid meet cute, where like they meet, they're immediately smitten, or at least Kaz is immediately smitten, and there is something cute about it. Like, admittedly, right away, it is kind of adorable the way he falls for her. I gotta give my man some credit. Like, he does have like some smooth lines, like when they call him, like, they're like, this man's a virgin, and he's like, dude, come on. And he looks at Mami-chan, he's like, you'll have to forgive me, I was a priest up until a few days ago. Or I was training to be a priest up until a few days ago. It's like, ha ha ha, very funny. And she even laughs. She's like, ah ha ha, that's funny. And it's like, damn, Kaz, that worked. even I was kind of impressed by that. And yeah, like I said, like seeing Kaz like first see Mami-chan, there is something cute about it. We know how this train ends though. Like, we know how this is gonna go, but at the same time, I can't fault my boy for being happy, you know, like, especially the first time he meets her. And as I said, my man maybe needs to sit down and watch 500 Days of Summer and start to, you know, move on. And I'm not saying move on to Mizu. Like, I know that everybody's like, you just wanted to get together with Mizuhara. If I'm totally honest, I don't even really want that. Because that's also like a whole different can of worms, and they haven't really proven to me that they wouldn't also be toxic in different ways. So it's not that I want him to I don't want him to get together with either girl, if I'm totally honest. I just want Kaz to find a different girl. I want Kaz to move on, embrace all the lessons he's learned. I want him to be Mizu's friend. Like, that's gonna come into play towards the end of the episode when he's saying some dumb shit. And I'm like, don't say it like that. Like, ask to be her goddamn friend, you plebe. Like, Jesus, like, just... You don't have to bang every girl in your life. Like, you could just be friends with some girls. You have 2 girls in your life already that you are just friends with. Like, just be friends with Mizu. I guarantee you, if you said, like, hey, we're neighbors, so, like, yeah, I'm not going to rent you anymore, but, like, maybe we could just be friends. I'm getting off topic. We'll get there when we get there. Honestly, like, again, I really think Kaz needs to move on from Mami-chan. And Mizu, but mainly Mami-chan. I do think this man needs to watch 500 Days. I think this man needs to start to learn a little bit more about himself. And this also leads us to the present day stuff, where Mami-chan, I mean, we know from last week that they definitely kissed, all right? Because I was like, maybe it was like a trick of the light, but in the back of my head, I'm like, no, fam, you know they kissed. And they totally did. Like, they totally did. And Mami-chan hits Kaz with the, like, forgive me, Kaz, I couldn't control myself anymore. It's like, ew, she's so fake, dude. Like, she's lying to you, my guy. She is lying through her teeth, through her icicles for teeth. She is lying to you. This ice queen is trying to get you around her pinky finger so she can control you some more. Come on, Kaz. Like, come on, son. And I know everybody going like, oh, but he doesn't know. Well, if he had 2 brain cells, he'd notice, but it's Kaz, so he doesn't. He's too goddamn innocent. And we'll get into it, but yeah, Kaz is too much of an innocent virgin to notice this shit. And that's coming from an asexual dude, for God's sake. Like, Kaz, please just notice when somebody's trying to, like, seduce you. And please know that she is going to screw you. That's the thing, right? It's irritating for us because we know she's trying to do this beyond a shadow of a doubt. And Kaz, to Kaz, it's like the only thing that she's done, as far as he's concerned, that would deem her as shady. Actually, no, she's done a lot. Like, they spent the last few weeks of that relationship, a month-long relationship, by the way, a month-long relationship. They spent the last stretch of that being all awkward and shit, barely talking, barely holding hands, none of that shit. And then Mami-chan says that she found somebody else and they gotta break up now. Okay, bye-bye. Like, that's 2. And then strike 3, insulting him in front of Mizu and all of their friends. And this dude is so spineless and so whipped, like, so, like, just, again, like, I hate saying this, because I know everybody's like, come on, man, we sick of that word. But he is what he is. He's a simp. Like, it is what it is. He's a simpleton. He's a simpleton. He's a ton of simp. I know simpleton means something else, but I'm just saying. He's a ton of simp in one man. And it's, like, I saw Evan's video, and I couldn't agree more that he is, like, I don't necessarily agree, but I really, really wanted to, where Evan straight up called the man an incel, and, like, he has some of them tendencies, man, and it's like, Kaz, for God's sake, she's playing you, and anybody would notice, except you. You know how else you can tell? Because this chick's bracelet was splayed out all nice on the side of a rock. If you took a glance to your left, you might have seen that. But no, definitely. Like, in... I don't know what that was. It's just my brain short-circuiting. I can't. He's the worst. But I can't leave him. Like, that's the thing. It's like, Kaz, you're the worst. But at the same time, there's something about you that is good, and you're trying, and I can't just walk away. Like, I can't, and when I say walk away, I mean, like, I can't abandon our boy. He's not our boy. He's I don't even want to say it again, but he's not our boy, he's our trash can. How about that? He's our trash can. He's our trash bin. But he's our trash bin. And I want to see him become our boy again. I want to see him, like, grow from this. Again, that's what I hope for. I hope that the show ends, and I know it's not because manga fans have spoiled some shit for me. But I don't care. It's an adaptation. If it only gets one season, the way I want it to end is I want Kaz to realize that he is strong on his own, and that if he does get a girl, he should treat her with a lot of respect, and he should care about her the way that he clearly cares about Mami-chan, but know that you have to respect her in the same way you respect Mizu. Like, I want him to grow from the situation. I don't want him to get together with any of the girls, if I'm totally honest. I think him and Mizu are cute, but I'm also worried there might be some toxicity there. I think the perfect ending is Kaz learning lessons from all these girls, becoming their friend, except maybe Mami-chan, and we haven't met the other two yet, so I'm not super sure how I feel about them quite yet. So at the moment, it's become Mizu's friend and, like, you know, grow from that experience. But I don't know if that's how things are going to play out. And it kills me, too, because, like, the episode keeps saying that he can be a man when he tries, which is kind of true and kind of not. Because here's the thing, right? Like, so when they kiss, they go back and Mami-chan says, like, pretend like nothing happened, which, again, is part of her friggin' game. It's part of her all according to Keikaku, because she's evil. But they go back and they're just playing card games in the sun, right? And Kaz is sitting there thinking that Mizu has helped him win Mami-chan back, which, again, I can get how he thinks that, and I get how Mizu might even think that. I really do. But it's such a it's demonstrating, like, he's not really being a man, because if he was being a man, he would have, like, told Mami-chan, like, hey, not cool, right? Because, again, Mami-chan doesn't know that they're not a real couple. And when you build a relationship on a goddamn lie, on cheating, there's nothing quote-unquote manly about that shit. There's nothing courageous or brave about that shit. You built it on a goddamn lie. And that's what bugged me, man. Like, so many times in this episode, Mizu says, like, I get it, you're in the right, you were being a man. I think, especially because of something that happens later, I think she's lying. I think she's just telling him what he needs to hear so she'll go away. But I don't know. That could be how Mizu actually feels. Again, I know the circumstances are kind of they're very specific, but even still, I'm like, no, nothing about that was courageous to me. And what's worse is that in the middle of this card game, as he's thinking, like, oh, I can't wait to get Mami-chan back, Granny gives him a call. You know, Granny Kino give him a call, and she's in the middle of playing some gacha games, because we all love Granny. And she tells him, like, hey, I'm actually getting discharged. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, Granny Kino leaving the hospital. That's fantastic, right? But oh no, if Granny leaves the hospital, all of a sudden, and to give her a direct quote, now I can come see Mizu whenever I want, which is obviously a problem. And it only becomes more of a problem when you remember, like, okay, if Granny Kino is out of the hospital and Mizu lives next door, like, it's gonna cause issues. Like, everything, like, issues are already starting. And I know that Kaz can't just tell everybody, like, she's our rent-a-girlfriend, because then they'll laugh at him. They're all gonna laugh at you. It's true, they would. If you really wanted to come clean, you would just tell people and then, like, just take on, like, the responsibility of that shit, but then you'd lose Mami-chan, so you can't, right? Like, you can't do that shit. But don't call him a man. Don't call him brave. Don't call him courageous. He's none of that shit. He is for later. Something else happens later that I do think makes him brave, but nothing that happens up until that point makes him brave. Not a goddamn thing. And you know who is brave? You know who is a man? You know who is, like, standing up for what's right and shit right now? Kibe. Because when Kaz very, very, very awkwardly says that him and Mizu are actually talking about breaking up because he can't think of a good enough lie to get out of this new situation. Maybe I shouldn't have lied in the first place and just said like, oh, Mizu, I don't know, where are you from? I don't actually know. Just make up some, like, just, I don't know. Like, everything that Kaz does irritates me up until the last scene. And this scene in particular, when he said that, I cringed. It was so awkward. It was so awkward. Like, so awkward. At that point, it's like, why would you even say that? Like, I know that Mizu says later, like, actually, I think what you did was right. Again, I don't even know if I really believe her. Like, if that's actually how she feels, I don't know. If it is, Mizu, honey, you've been in the sun too long. Like, that's not how that should have played out. It was so awkward. And again, it's so blatantly obvious what's happening. And again, even if the characters knew that she was just a rent-a-girlfriend, it's still squicky. It's still wrong what he's doing. It's still wrong, right? And Kibe is still in the right, even if they all knew. And if they don't, it's even worse. You know what I mean? It's an even worse look when you look at it from Kibe's point of view. Kibe is, like, again, I hate that we be in 2020 and we're still using, like, he's a real man. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what does that even mean these days? But, like, at the same time, I'm just gonna say, like, Kibe is a real one. That's the best thing I can say. Kibe is a real one. Because Kibe, from his point of view, his friend is dating this other girl and is happy and great, and he shows her off and he really likes her. But the instant Mami-chan comes back in his life, the instant this girl shows even the slightest hint of giving him ever so slightly just a drop of coochie, all of a sudden he's all about Mami-chan again. And again, we're looking at this from Kibe's point of view. So, you've told your friend, hey, you treat her with respect, dog. Like, hey, treat her with respect. She loves you, dude. Like, she is dating you. Like, this girl gave you the time of day and she didn't have to. You treat her with respect. And then he says this shit in front of Mami-chan, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very sus. And again, Kibe is half right, because this is all about Mami-chan. And you notice this, right? If you're Kibe, imagine everything you've seen, and look, if that were me, and I hate to say it because I'm really against, like, violence for the sake of violence, I probably would have talked. I would have been like, come with me. I would have grabbed Kaz and I would have screamed at him. But at the same time, I don't disagree with what Kibe did. Kaz needed a punch in the goddamn face. It had to happen. Because he was acting like an arrogant dick. And even by his own admission later in the episode, Kaz was being an arrogant fool. And Kibe was in the exact right to punch this fool in the mouth. And honestly, I'm shocked he didn't lay into him more. If anything, Kaz lays into Kibe more, and Kibe just sort of lets him he gets on top of Kibe, and Kibe's like, stop it, man. Like, he really start. By the way, Kibe doesn't even say stop it. He's just like, Kibe's taking the punches, right? But the instant Kibe gets the offensive, what does Kaz say? No, wait, sorry, I'm sorry. Wimp. Oh, God. Kaz! Trash can! Trash! Everything Kibe did, as far as I'm concerned, was correct. I wish he knew the actual situation, because then obviously he wouldn't have punched Kaz. And I don't think violence is quite the right answer. Again, I would have changed the way I delivered that a little bit differently. I would have done that a little bit differently. But was Kibe in the wrong? Absolutely not. Not as far as I'm concerned. In fact, if somebody could pick up Kibe's crown, because clearly he dropped that, somebody hand the king his crown, because my God, I wish Kibe was more of a focus in these episodes, because this dude, Kibe, is a real one, 110%. And Kaz's childish-ass response, like, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how much I cared about her and how much it hurt me to get jumped by her. It's like, grow up. You're in college, dog. College. You're not in grade school. You're not in high school. You're in college. Grow up. It's disgusting at this point. And again, before anybody says, but it's his first girlfriend, I know, but he's also a college student. A college student. Grow up. You're hardly a teenager at this point. The instant you're in college, and I've seen some people be like, actually, I don't consider 20 to be a grown-ass man. You're grown. You are grown. Do you hear the word teen at the end of your age? No, you're grown. You can still be fun-loving and young. Young has nothing to do with being a grown-ass adult. You're an adult now. Be an adult. Stop being a whiny bitch. And speaking of bitches, may I point out that Kibe rightfully calls out the Ice Queen on her shit. He does not just lay into Kaz, which I appreciate. You wanna know why? It takes two to tango, okay? And he knows that this is pretty heavily her fault too. In fact, it's mostly her fault, right? Because he says, like, he's an idiot. He's gonna fall for it. You know better. You know what I mean? Like, he calls her out. He says, like, stop leading him on. He's stupid. He'll fall for it. You know better. 110% you know better than that. And she even kind of flinches. Like, not because she thinks he's gonna hit her, but because she knows he's onto her. You know what I mean? Like, he knows. And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's like, yeah, that's right, you're fucking sorry. Because this man is a goddamn king. And I will hear no shit talk about Kibe. I swear to God, if I see any of that, I will throw up in my mouth. Again, just the only way I can see people being upset with Kibe is either A, he used force, or B, they relate to Kaz, which still really makes me very sad. And what breaks my heart is the friends saying to Mizu, like, hey, maybe you should leave. And Mizu's like, yeah. And Mizu, like, walks off on her own. It's like, Kaz, look what you have caused. Look what you have done. Look what you have wrought. And again, it's like, Kaz, no matter what I say, no matter how angry I get with you, at the end of the day, I still want to see you through this shit. You're my trash can at this point. I've been with you for 4 episodes. You really think I'm leaving? Would I be watching the show if I thought it was bad? Like, do you really think that, Kaz? No, the show is glorious. It's a glorious, messy, relationship-filled mess. It's just a mess, but I love it to pieces. There's so much going for it. And I do think Kaz is a very engaging character because I want him to get through it. But he is engaging because he's trash. And he calls himself as such, and every time he says it, I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, you kinda are. And not even kinda. But that's just it. Like, watching Kaz lay in the sand, it's like, I didn't want this for you. Like, I didn't want to see you beat up. But you had to get beat up because you've been acting like an idiot. And I didn't want this for you, Kaz. I don't want this for you, man. Like, just get better. Be better. I don't know how many episodes you got, so at the same time, don't get better too fast, because then the pacing will be a mess. But I want to see you grow, Kaz. And Kibe does too. And in fact, you know what? Before we get to Kibe, we should probably talk about the whole Mizu conversation. So Kaz eventually kind of storms off, right? And he bumps into Mizu, and they're far enough away from everybody where they can sort of talk about, you know, all the rent-a-girlfriend stuff without anybody getting caught. And she says, again, this is what I mean where I'm like, I don't know if I really believe her, because it's so not her character. I was like, what? She says that she thinks that he did the right thing, that they don't know the full story, so of course they wouldn't get it. And like that part in particular, I'm like, that's true. They don't know the full story, so how could they get it? But you say that as though it's their fault, like as though they're in the wrong, and like, no, Kaz is in the wrong. That's who's at fault here. And like, it's and even then, like, Kaz isn't necessarily at fault. Shit kind of just happened really quickly, and he's a bad liar, so it just kind of happened. Like, at the end of the day, the blame is with Kaz, but I kind of understand where he's coming from. So blaming the friends, like, again, she's not blaming the friends, it's just the way it was worded. I was like, I don't like that. And saying he did the right thing, it's like, no, the right thing would have been to just be like, just like to avoid the situation altogether. Be like, hey, me and Mizu are going to run off. Okay, we'll talk to y'all later. Like, don't hang out with them. Just be like, hey, now that Mizu's here, I want to go take my girl somewhere. I'll talk to you guys later. You know what I mean? Avoid the situation. Kaz stuck around because he wanted to be around Mami-chan, which is not the right thing to do right now. The right thing is to get Mizu out of that situation, get her back to her friends, so that y'all don't have to deal with this crazy shit. That would have been the right thing, but no, Kaz stuck around because he wants to show off Mizu. And I get it. I would too. You know what I mean? But like at the same time, I don't like Mizu saying that Kaz was doing the right thing, or that like just like all this shit about him being like in the right and how she thinks like, oh, you can be a man sometimes. No, like if he was actually being like a genuinely real human, he would have either gotten you out of that situation, or he would have just told everybody what was actually going on, which he's not gonna. So, a real man? Kaz? Not yet. Not till the end of the episode. Not right now. She even says she found this to be a bold move. And I was like, bold? He punched him. Like Kibe punched Kaz. Like, the bold move of saying that, like, we're talking about breaking up in front of a group of friends and making everything really friggin' awkward, that's, you're right, it's a bold move. It's also a weird and embarrassing one. But at the same time, she at least, like, says that he's a dumbass under her breath at the end of this scene, so maybe it was all just a ruse, because I do think she just wants to be done with Kaz at this point. And on top of that, she was clearly suffering a heat stroke. Like, she's clearly been out in the sun, like, way too long. So maybe she just kind of wanted to say everything that he wanted to hear so that he just, like, go away. I kind of want that to be the case, but I don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see. But this is then followed by the Kibe scene, with the two of them sort of just discussing, like, Kaz and how Kibe sees him and everything. And it's honestly a really sweet scene. And Kibe pretty much hits the nail on the head for Kaz, like saying he's a wishy-washy moron who always needs others to clean up his messes, but he still believes everything will work out for him. And then, like, Kaz, like, in the background, he doesn't scream it loud enough for them to hear it, but he says, like, hey, tell him he's wrong. And it perfectly sums Kaz up, if I'm honest. It's like, yeah, it's true, man. He is just this wishy-washy idiot who is constantly expecting other people to clean up his mess. And that's the goal of the show, is to get him to not be that anymore. The character's going to start one way and eventually grow to be a different way. And that's what I'm waiting for, is Kaz to stop letting other people clean up his mess. Like, it's gotta stop. But, like, this scene is also great because it shows this side of Kibe that I really like. And Kibe, he a best boy contender, man. Like, Kibe is a real one. Like, the fact that he asks, like, hey, are you guys actually breaking up? And Mizu's like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, oh, damn. Like, I was really happy for him to meet somebody like you. I mean, like, look at him. He's Kaz, you know? And it's sweet. Like, he explains how long he's known him and how at times he had almost given up on him. Like, apparently Kaz got rejected 3 times in the same day. And, like, that was the day he's like, I almost gave up on him, like, completely. And it's funny, right? Ultimately, you can really tell that Kibe has a real admiration for Kaz. Like, he's his buddy, right? They've known each other since grade school. And he even tells this story about how Kaz had this plant. Like, they were all supposed to be growing morning glories, right? Over the summer. And accidentally, Kibe knocked Kaz's plant over, and he couldn't find the seed, so he's like, crap, okay, well, I'll just fix it, and I'll apologize to him at the end of summer. And he kind of held that all summer. And when Kaz sees it, he notices there's, like, a root growing, and so everybody's like, oh, it's just a weed. But it turned out that it was actually, and Kaz refused because everyone was trying to tell him, like, no, that's not it. And he's like, no, I'm going to water it and take care of it, and it's going to grow into a beautiful flower, you watch. And what ends up happening is that it does grow into a flower, but not a morning glory. It grows into a white hibiscus plant, which is known for being a flower to represent femininity, which is interesting, beauty, and purity. And I think the last one is the one that most fits Kaz. I think that represents his soul, in essence, is like he has this real earnestness about him where, like, yes, he is a wishy-washy idiot. He's a wishy-washy moron. He is a total leech. He needs other people to help him because he can't fix his own messes. But at the same time, there is that pure, just genuine optimism to the character where he keeps trying and he's trying and he's trying. And you kind of can't help but find that sort of endearing. And that's sort of where I'm at with Kaz. It's just like, God, you are the worst. But there is something about you, like, God love you. Kaz is the personification of, well, they're a mess, but God love them, they're trying. That God love them, they're trying thing, I know you've heard that before. That is Kaz. Just, God love him, he's trying. And that's sort of what Kibe finds about Kaz to be endearing. Something that he admires about him is Kaz's endless optimism and perseverance. Like, that's what sort of drew Kibe to Kaz. And this man ends the conversation with Mizu by saying, like, hey, like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I bought you these tickets. I was meant to give them to you and Kaz as like a celebration gift because I hadn't got you guys anything. So take them. And then Kaz ends up getting caught behind the bushes, like, listening to them. And he's like, Uruse baka, which is my favorite thing. And then he just sort of hands Mizu the tickets and he walks away. And Kibe is the man. He's just the man. Like, just the fact that I'm like, you bought them boat tickets? That is adorable. Like, Kibe is a real one. 100%. He's the best. Like, I love this character. I really want to see him and Kaz sort of reconcile because honestly, Kibe did knock the shit out of Kaz. And Kaz got some good punches in too. Give the man some credit. But at the end of the day, Kibe did that because he cares about him. And, like, sometimes between boys, you just gotta rough each other up to get a point across. Sometimes it's just gotta be that way. And I do think that he truly, truly cares about Kaz. Like, he wouldn't have tried to defend him like that if he didn't. And Kibe be the realest one. But the boat ride is where Kaz steps up. Kind of. For the most part, he kind of annoyed me until the very last second. At this point, I'm thinking, like, Kaz, you don't deserve Mizu, you don't deserve your friends, they are too good for you. Like, you really owe them, man. Like, you owe them big. And Mizu basically tells him, like, listen, like, this is gonna be our last time. Like, this is our last dance here, so just as a heads up. This is ourselves under pressure. Well, actually, that's kind of fitting, because Mizu is genuinely, like, super sick. And Kaz is like, is it the boat? Like, are you boats? Like, do you get seasick? And Mizu's like, no, it's nothing. It'll go away in a bit. But Kaz, you did nothing wrong. And if you want to get Mami-chan back, you better go at her with everything you got. And it's like, oh, that's endearing. Why are you telling him this? Like, clearly Mami-chan's not good for him. Why are you saying this? And what kills me is that Mizu goes inside and sits down. And she's, like, hyperventilating. Like, you can tell, like, something's wrong. And Kaz is just trying his best to be confident and, like, cool and shit. That he doesn't notice that she's clearly not feeling well. Or at the very, like, he notices that she's not feeling well, but, like, he thinks everything's hunky-dory, and he's talking about how, like, oh, don't worry, like, this is gonna be good, and blah, 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 like, everything's gonna be okay, and, like, when I see you next up, like, it's like, no, dude, sit next to her. Take care of her, dog. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But Mizu says, like, can you just leave me alone? And it's mostly because this man trying to act confident, it's not helping right now. And she's so clearly sick. And he just kind of, like, and she acts super distant and honestly kind of pissed. And so Kaz, like, gets a phone call and he's like, all right, I'm going to take this. And it's, of course, Mami-chan, who's waiting for him at the pool. But listen, I've had this screenshot up the whole time. Let's just be honest. You know why I'm talking about this scene right now. The end of this episode ends with Mizu falling off the damn boat, and I lost my mind because I did not expect that at all. I knew she was sick, but I thought she was gonna, like, pass out or something. I didn't expect her to fall off the boat. This is Rent-A-Girlfriend, not, I don't know, some dramatic-ass anime. I did not anticipate that. I was not expecting that at all. Like, that was a shock. But a bigger shock, and this is the moment where I'm like, yes, Kaz. Like, that's what I'm talking about, my man. Is Kaz sees this, like, instantly. Like, he sees something fall off the boat. He doesn't see who it is. He just sees something. And then he hears somebody say it was someone with long, dark hair and a white blouse. And he's like, oh, shit. right? He just knows without a shadow of a doubt, he knows what's going on. And he drops the phone, and he just hops over the guardrail and makes a dive for Mizu to try to save her. And judging by the end credits scene, like the next time on Rent a Girlfriend like bit, the preview for the next episode, which I really got to stop watching because this shit be spoiling. But you see that like Kaz is apparently like in not great shape. Like when he goes in to save Mizu, like when we see him next, like in the next time preview, like it looks like he maybe like almost drowned himself. But yeah, I don't know. Now I'm like vaguely concerned. I'm like, be okay, Kaz. Like, but at the same time, it's like that is a real one move. Like that is how you be a true genuine human. Like that's true compassion right there, Kaz. Like that is some good shit. Kibe would be proud of you in that moment. Like I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Like that made me go like, okay, see, this is what Kibe is talking about. Where Kaz has endless optimism, endless perseverance, and again, the fact that he grew the hibiscus flower, and y'all know me, I like my symbolism. He has a pure heart, and he does just want a girlfriend. Damn it, like that's all this boy wants. And so he can't help himself. He is a good person. He sees Mizu's in trouble. No flinching, no second guessing. Jumps in the water to save her. And that's how you end the episode. Huge cliffhanger. But yeah, that was a perfect ending to the episode. Absolutely great. And Kaz, my boy, you have earned points with me. You are no longer a trash can. You are trash. Well, actually, maybe you're a trash can, because trash is worse. You're not just trash, you're a trash can. You're leveling back up to being our boy. Slowly, but surely. But with that said, everybody, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. I was all over the place this week. Definitely, again, went on longer than I needed to. I think if I cut out going through the episode like scene by scene, it might help a little bit. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'll bring this up in other videos as well. But yeah, that's all my thoughts. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all of these beautiful names. And if you too would like to join these beautiful people, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. For less than a cup of coffee a month, just a single $1, you can help keep this channel afloat, see your name in these credits, and I would appreciate it very, very much. So thank you once again to the T Squadron, and on that note, I am going to go make myself a cup of tea because I've thrown out my voice again. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.